In 1943, the Iranian monarch would become, for American presidents, the figure of authority around whom could be built a modern Iran. Not only would he be expected to provide access to Persian oil and stability in a volatile region, he would keep the Russians out and the communists down. Matters of Mideast defense were discussed when the Shah visited Harry Truman in the White House in 1949. The U.S. pledged protection in the event of Soviet aggression, but the Shah wanted his own full-scale military deterrent against enemies both foreign and internal. Steadily, especially after the CIA helped to restore him to power from exile during the nationalistic reign of Prime Minister Mossadegh, American fears of Soviet ambitions coincided with the Shah's desire to become a military power. In a visit to Iran, however, Dwight Eisenhower told the Shah that he could not rely on military strength alone to assure stability. Spending too much of the country's oil wealth on arms would impede social reforms and increase the poverty which the Shah himself had called the greatest asset of communism. On each visit, the Shah found a friend in the White House. To each president and to the nation at large, he appealed for arms. "Keep up your military aid," he pleaded. The Shah became, in Washington, Iran personified. By the time he met Lyndon Johnson in 1967, there was dissent growing against his policies at home. There were anti-Shah demonstrations outside the White House as well, and dissent in our government too. The State Department now arguing for more arms sales, and Pentagon officials responsible for justifying those sales insisting that the Shah was already spending too much on military power. But by 1969, the doubters were routed. It was the beginning of the Nixon Doctrine, which proclaimed that the U.S. would no longer be the policeman of the world. Instead, we would rely on surrogates who would protect our interests with arms made in America. Nixon promised the Shah he could buy anything short of nuclear weapons. Anything for such a staunch ally.
I believe that the relations between Iran and the United States have never been better. That is due to your leadership. It's due also to the fact that we feel a special relationship not only to your country but to you. A relationship which in my case goes back many years.
Gerald Ford, pressed by his Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, promised to intensify the close cooperation and consultation between Iran and America. So did Jimmy Carter, whose visit from the Shah was marked by the tear gassing of Iranian dissidents protesting near the White House. Carter reprimanded the Shah for violating human rights, but he too embraced the monarch as a brother in arms. In Tehran on New Year's Eve, 1977, he toasted Iran.
Iran, because of the great leadership of the Shah, is an island of stability in one of the more troubled areas of the world. This is a great tribute to you, Your Majesty, and to your leadership, and to the respect and the admiration and love which your people give to you.
We now know, with hindsight, how far off the mark was President Carter when he noted the love and affection Iranians felt for the Shah.